Hello, it's January 21st. This is Doug's Drinking News Update. I thought I'd share with everybody about all of the presidents that I have known or were in existence when I was born. Let's start with number one, Eisenhower. Do I remember him? No. There's only like 1 to 4 at the time. But he was a great Allied general, and he helped with defeating the Nazis, most famously known as a guy that orchestrated D-Day in June 6, 1944, I think. Okay, let's move on. Next guy, John F. Kennedy. JFK. I remember him. I remember seeing him on the black and white TVs. I remember him saying, "Ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you." Actually, that's reversed. Anyway, JFK will be most noted by the Bay of Pigs, the Cuban crisis, Castro. They tried to put nukes on Cuba. He did a blockade, stopped them in his tracks, called their bluff. They turned around and went back. That's what he's famous for. And unfortunately, he was assassinated in Dallas, Texas in 1963, I think. I was only like 8 years old at the time, but I remember it very vividly. I was going home for lunch to eat. My mom, on the news, Walter Cronkite, of all people, interrupted the show as the world turns. And my mom is going, freaking out, going, "The president's been shot." LBJ, Lyndon Johnson, vice president. He was actually helping Kennedy with the space program. That was his main focus. Now he's president. So he had a big task ahead of him. It's called the Vietnam War, which actually John F. Kennedy got us involved with from World War II, doctrine on stopping communism from spreading throughout the world. JFK started it. LBJ said, "I'll take care of it." Lyndon didn't do too good of a job of it. The country started getting divided. People were getting pissed off about what's going on and everything. He was so frustrated with it, and the country was dividing, that he didn't even try to go for a second term, which was, hey, he'd had enough of it. So, I'm the greatest, Muhammad Ali, Mr. Richard Nixon. He became our next president. Oh, tricky dicky. He promised that he would stop the war in Vietnam, unite the country, and all this other stuff and everything. But little did any of us know, old Tricky Dick was pretty tricky. My mom used to say, "I just don't trust that man." Good reason. Yeah, even though the war kind of wound down and we had a peaceful treaty with South and North Vietnam, he had something that was bothering him big time. It was called Watergate. That was his downfall. Down he goes. So you think the vice president would take over, Spiro Agnew? Oh no, he was involved with it too. He's out the door. So who's the next guy they go to? He may have been the Speaker of the House. I'm not sure on my history here. But, what was the name of the guy? Ford. Yeah, Ford. Well, Ford. Like the name of the motor company, Ford. Yeah. Well, he was the interim president or whatever. And Ford was, he was something else. He was very clumsy. That's what I remember him by. Playing tennis, going up, doing a serving hand. and he serves a ball and hits his dual partner or his partner, right in the back of the head. Made all sorts of jokes about him. Chevy Chase and Saturday Night Live back in that day in the late 70s, I remember making fun of him. Okay, what does Ford do? He pardons Nixon. Not a good thing. Next election. Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter, yes sir. Peanut farmer from Georgia. Oh yeah. Jimmy Carter. He's going to change the world. We love him. We love him. We need change in America. Military's hated. Everything's going on. And Jimmy, he was doing fine until the Shah of Iran was overthrown by the Ayatollah. His worst nightmare. Shit. Gas prices go through the roof and everything and all this other stuff. He tried this mission that failed and got a whole bunch of specialists, military operators killed. Not a very good, successful thing for Jimmy Carter. And at the meantime, inflation was going up double digits every single year. Here comes Ronald Reagan. I remember Ronald Reagan. I remember he was an actor. And plus, when I was in boot camp, I saw some films of him of telling us what to do if we became a POW in a war situation. Ways to escape, what not to say, and always remember, don't talk and say anything because that's an act of treason. Reagan actually was a pretty decent president. I have no complaints. That's probably a time in my life that I kind of switched from liberalism to conservatism or find that middle path in between. Reagan did pretty good. Got the economy kind of turned around. Then, unfortunately, he had some problems too. But he made it through it. But his biggest accomplishment was he tore down the Berlin Wall. The wall that separated the Soviet Union, dismantled. Reagan had a lot to do with that. After 8 years, Reagan gets out, and here comes George Bush. George Bush, vice president, gets in there, and he's kind of riding the coattails of Reagan. Everything's going fine and everything. And then all of a sudden, this asshole from Iraq, Saddam Hussein, he goes nuts and decides to go to Kuwait and take all over their oil fields and stuff. No, nothing to do with it. He got it started called Desert Storm. Started a coalition with countries like Syria. I don't think Iran was involved too much in there. But anyway, to make my long story short, we went in there, we kicked their ass, got back up to Saddam's doorstep and let him go. So Bush, riding high on it, guess who comes along? That's right, Mr. William Clinton. Oh boy, William was a good guy, good looking, young, and away with the ladies. Oh yes, I did. Plus I could play the saxophone. Boy, what I could get him to do. Well, Bill Clinton got elected. And actually, he didn't do such a bad idea when it came to the economy. He actually worked with Congress, the Republicans, and stuff. And Mr. Newton, who was Speaker of the House back then, they worked together and stuff. And actually, we had a balanced budget for the first time. The last time, a balanced budget. Yeah, Bill was riding high. Had a beautiful wife named Hillary. But unfortunately, I guess they hired an intern named Monica. And you know what? Monica was, oh, Bill, I can't take my eyes off her. And unfortunately, old Bill, let's just say he got a blowjob from Monica. Well, anyway, he got impeached, but he never got thrown out of office and stuff. His 8 years was up. So, you know what? Here we go. Here we go. So, who's up next in the batting act? Let's see. Who was that afterwards? Oh, my God. George W. Bush gets back in the picture. Yeah. So, George W. Bush gets elected. Now, he was clumsy, too. People made fun of him and everything. And he's kind of just cruising along until 9/11 happened. Bam. Americans in war again. Well, yeah. We were going to Afghanistan, and we were looking for the bad guy. We know who the bad guy is. And at the moment, I can't even think of his name. But anyway, we went after him. But we couldn't find him. But after that, after the Afghanistan thing, George wasn't happy because he thought that he wanted to go back in Iraq and get Saddam Hussein because to finish up a job that his dad never finished up. Well, anyway, we went in there again and kicked their butts and stuff, but there was no WMDs, and so that didn't work out too good for George. George got elected for his second term. We're still on the search for Al-Qaeda. Still on the search for their major leader. Why can't I think of the guy's name right now? Damn, it's pissing me off. But anyway, then along comes Barack Obama. Actually, at first, I kind of liked him. And the only reason I liked him because he was a Bears fan. He was a senator in Illinois. And I go, well, I'll see what he's going to do. And they go up to the election process and everything and stuff. And he's going against McCain, a prisoner of war, who was a prisoner of war, now senator and everything. Barack Obama wins. Now he's the next president of the United States. Bring America together and all this other stuff. Do all this stuff. Well, not much really got done. Brought in Obamacare. Obamacare just really fucked everything up, in my opinion. Fucked everything up. He's out today, and now, as of yesterday, we have a new president named Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, I hope that my next flashback memory while I've been drinking is a positive one and not a negative one. But until that time, good luck. And to all of you, this has been Doug's Drinking News Update. Good night and sleep tight.